Hello, I'm Joel Dick, and I'm really excited to see so many people here, and I want to thank you for being here. Municipal government is often overlooked, but I think it's the level of government that most directly touches your life. From the sidewalks you walk on, to the safety of the water you drink, to the festivals that our city funds, the cultural events, to the safety of the restaurants you eat at with health inspectors, the city government touches your life every day in so many ways. And I think it's really important the kind of city we envision in the future and the kind of Ward 27 we want. I see a city that can be green, that can be on the leading edge of the fight against climate change, that can really harness the innovation of this place, of Ryerson, the innovation of U of T, to lead that fight, to attract people from around the world to our city. I think that's the kind of city we want to build. We want to build a city that's inclusive and accessible to everyone, that doesn't leave any of its residents behind, that provides opportunity for everyone. And I think when we put that vision in front of us, we have to realize it's going to be hard, it's going to take some hard work, and it's also going to take smart investments. We need to make those investments now. Those investments in transit, those investments in affordable housing, investments that bring us together as a community. But also we need to realize, especially in Ward 27, we have so many distinct and unique communities that have unique strengths, unique challenges, and City Hall needs to be there to support those communities, to support those neighborhoods. And Ryerson is one of those communities. And I think we can do that, but we can only do that if we work together. And I have a history of working together with people. I founded a charity that's devoted to producing renewable energy right here in the city. I've coached with a hockey league at Moss Park that provides free recreation for the kids of Region and Moss Park. And I'm out of time, but thank you so much for being here, and I really look forward to your questions. Yes, I'm in favor of a full public inquiry. I called for a full public inquiry very early. You can go back to my Facebook page and see that. We need an inquiry. We all deserve to live in a safe city. We all deserve to know what happened and why it happened. And that applies as much to the officers who are put in a very difficult position as it does to the rest of us. We deserve an inquiry so we have answers. The only way we're going to get those answers is with an inquiry, with a judge or a retired judge with subpoena power who has the ability to look at all the forces that were here in our city. Because as we know, there was a very complicated command structure in place. And I think we need a full inquiry, one inquiry that can call witnesses, and everybody deserves that. We deserve answers as a city. It was a hard weekend. There's no avoiding that. There was damage to businesses. Business owners lost a lot that weekend. We, as citizens, lost a lot. There was an attack, I think, on ability to demonstrate and to speak out, which we hold very dear. We need answers to that. The only way we'll get all the answers that will be fair to everyone is with a full public inquiry.
Thank you. No, you can't. You have to take a picture.
The current waiting list that we have, if no one gets added to that list and we continue to create affordable units at the rate we're creating them, it will take us 60 years to clear the waiting list. 60 years. That's unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable for a city as wealthy as ours to leave that many people behind. And there is a solution. We need to pass an inclusionary zoning bylaw. We need to pass that now. That would require every new development to include a percentage of affordable units. It would spread affordable units throughout the city. It would create housing in the short term that we could put people in. And you'll hear from people, but we can't do that. They rely on an OMB decision that is decades old. It's not a very good decision to start with and predates the City of Toronto Act. Yes, we can do it. The people who've looked at it say we can do it, and it's simply a matter of political will. It's time to pass an inclusionary zoning bylaw today. I think this is obviously, most of us know what we're talking about here. There was a group called Queers Against Israeli Apartheid that marched in Pride and raised a lot of controversy. My position has been crystal clear on this issue. Pride is a festival with over 20 years history in this city. It is an experienced, mature, responsible festival, and it should be permitted to make its own decisions. Free speech is an incredibly important value, but we know that free speech doesn't mean free to say anything you want, anywhere you want. You can't come into my living room and say what I don't want you to say. Pride had to find a very difficult balance, and Pride did that. There were competing values that Pride balanced. It was wrong for the city to put Pride's funding in jeopardy. I trust the people in charge of Pride. I trust them to make a good decision that balances very important democratic values. And let's be honest, there are values in conflict here, and I would trust Pride in the future, and whatever decision they make, I will support them as councillor, and I will not put their funding at risk over their decision, which should be their decision, as to who they allow into their parade. As a trial lawyer, and that takes me back to the question about affordable housing. You will hear again and again, we need to wait for the province for an inclusionary zoning bylaw. That is based on one poorly reasoned decision from the 1990s that has never been challenged and that predates the City of Toronto Act. We do not have to wait. And waiting for the province is an excuse. It's an act of timidity that just doesn't understand the crisis of housing we have, and we certainly need to act now. In fact, the City of Toronto has already passed such a bylaw, only it applies to projects so big, over so many hectares, it never gets invoked. The fact of the matter is, we can act, we should act, we must act, and I will act. I'm Joel Dick. If you vote for me, you're voting for investments in transit, you're voting for more affordable housing. I'm asking for your vote on October 25th.